If you clicked on this video, I assume you're somewhat like me. You want to improve yourself to get more out of life. More friends, partners, money, joy, experiences, Robux. And we have enough self-awareness to know that we must become those higher versions of ourselves in order to make it all happen. But there are 5 mental traps that not only slow you down, but can completely halt your progress. Meaning that they can cause you to stay on the NPC path of mediocrity, powerlessness, and despair. And the thing about these traps is not only are they easy to fall into, but we may not even know that we're in them until days, weeks, months, or years down the line once the damage is done. For most of my journey pursuing self-development and trying to master my mind, I was in these traps. And as soon as I escaped, both my progress and my overall mental health began skyrocketing. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 traps. Number 1 is caring. Yes, caring. If you care about too many things, it is like your mental real estate is packed full of shitty tenants. There will always be something to waste your attention on, stress about, and complain about, constantly pulling you away from what you should be focusing on. Now, of course, this could mean caring about people in your real life, but this is now especially common due to the internet. We all know those people who are like, Biden said this yesterday, the government did this yesterday, Aiden Ross, Twitter, Elon, Drake, all of this useless shit taking up their mental real estate. And they care about it. And to be honest with you, I had a period where I did this as well. I would start my days listening to this alternative news source, and they tend to only talk about negative things going on with the government and the politicians. And you know what? Listening to this and being informed didn't make me sexy and rich, didn't make me able to move to another country if I want to, if the government got too cringe. It just raised my cortisol, stressed me out, and for the rest of the day, it would just be tainted by this dark perspective of, everything's evil, it's all over. When in reality, governments and people have literally always been corrupt since the dawn of time. And if I'm failing at self-improvement, not gaining financial and mental freedom, I can't do shit about it anyways. This is especially true for all those people who just care about these random internet personalities. Besides me. Like, for example, you go on your phone and go to the Snapchat Explore, like the newsfeed. Who the f are these people? Why does anyone care about this Bobby girl? Caring about people and things out of your control is the perfect recipe to lower your perspective, kill your focus, waste your time, because you have an extremely limited amount of mental energy. Care about the things and people that make your life better and disregard the rest. Adopt the mindset of if something is completely out of your control, it doesn't matter. This is Stoicism 101. And if you ever find yourself getting worked up over something, just ask yourself why a few times. Like, why am I upset about this? Why does that matter? Why? And you'll get to the source, and most of the time you'll realize it's nonsense. Trap number 2 is undervaluing your attention. We are in the most distracted and unconscious era of human history. Ironically, we are also in an attention economy, because attention is now an extremely valuable resource like oil, which explains why Instagram spends billions to make every pixel on your screen as addicting as possible, the TikTok algorithm understands you better than your mother, and YouTube garners over 1 billion views a day. So yeah, it's obvious that companies that garner a lot of attention make a lot of money, but what does that mean for us? The other side of that coin is for the individual that is able to take full control over their attention. They win. Now, this is much easier said than done. I'm sure most of you watching aren't complete noobs who spend over 5 hours a day scrolling on TikTok, but little distractions are everywhere. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, quick glance at the notifications. I'm still being productive though, yet hours of your day are being robbed from you right under your nose. This is especially true because research shows that for each distraction, it takes an average of 25 minutes to refocus on what you are doing. This modern world is trying to steal your attention at every turn. Therefore, you must begin to value your attention higher and safeguard it from distraction. And these distractions are almost always paired with a cheap dopamine release. And dopamine is the neurotransmitter of seeking, meaning you get a distraction and it sends you down this rabbit hole of pleasure until all your mental energy is sapped. Now, if you'd like to understand dopamine itself a little more clearly and how to use it for your advantage, I have a free 30-minute dopamine guide in the description if you want to check it out after this video. So what I'd like you to try is start valuing your time at what you'd like to be paid at. So let's say you value your time at $50 an hour and you just spent 30 minutes scrolling through your phone, going down a little dopamine rabbit hole, and then it takes 25 minutes to refocus on the task at hand. You just wasted or spent almost $50 of your worth, of your time. If you start viewing things this way, it's going to cause you to make decisions with much more intention, meaning they're probably going to be better decisions. And this isn't just a hindrance to working or productivity. Distraction will negatively impact your relationships with people and lower your mental health, just like the next trap, which is lacking presence. You can remove all of those cheap dopamine distractions I talked about in the last trap and still fall into this trap, because unfortunately, our brain's default mode network is almost the complete antithesis to presence. The majority of people spend almost all of their time in the default mode network. That's why it is the default mode. And this is typically the source for almost all of their mental suffering. For example, when you're anxious about an upcoming event or depressed over something that happened in the past. It's also where you get that internal chatter as you are navigating your day. For example, someone's on the bus on their way to work and they're thinking, oh man, I just got some coffee on my shirt and everyone's gonna think I'm such an idiot and a buffoon and this girl is looking at me, she probably thinks I'm ugly, I wish I could talk to her but I can't, and oh dude, I don't think I'm gonna do the presentation at work very well today and the boss is gonna fire me and then I'm gonna have to live in the box on the road. Versus presence is fully being in the current moment as if the future and the past do not exist. Which they don't. They are just thoughts. And practicing true presence means you are navigating a moment with complete mindfulness. And this means in order to be more present in your life, you must begin to build the mental muscle of mindfulness. I call it a muscle because it must be trained in order for you to use it well. Now for me, the biggest game changer in raising my levels of presence, focus, and awareness is meditation. If you're interested, I have a free 5-day guided meditation series in the description you can check out after this video. And one thing you can do to combat all these thoughts bombarding you from the DFM is realize that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. We actually get to choose whether we identify with a thought that pops in our head or not. We've just been mentally scammed into this idea of identifying with every single thought. We are made to be observers. For example, don't think about the phrase, I want to kick a baby. Oh, dude, did you just think about kicking a baby? Well, I guess that means you're a person that wants to kick a baby, right? Start to notice these negative thoughts and emotions that pop into your head and observe them the same way you would observe a sound. You cannot control when the sound appears, nor can you control how long it stays in your awareness, and it will pass. The fourth trap is lacking gratitude. I think the whole idea around gratitude tends to get a bad rap because us guys view it as this thing that girls do, you know, they got their little gratitude journal and, oh, we don't want to be grateful, we don't want to be satisfied because we want to keep moving forward, right? But that could not be further from the case. You can reap all of these positive benefits from gratitude while not being satisfied with your current life and still striving forward. In fact, gratitude actually increased my progress in life because it allowed me to enter things such as work or exercise with a more positive outlook, which increased my output. Better outlook, better output, Papa John. In fact, research has found that practicing gratitude improves sleep, reduces stress, raises self-esteem, and increases mental strength. And a 2006 study showed that Vietnam veterans who had higher levels of gratitude had lower levels of PTSD. It's also great for relationships because expressing authentic gratitude towards others makes them like you more because you are making them feel good about themselves. So fellas, just hit her with that grateful riz, you know what I'm saying? Hey girl, I sure do appreciate that. Now, there's multiple ways to practice gratitude. The most common are obviously journaling and prayer. And one tip I have for that is make sure you are being grateful for these simple things, not a certain amount of money you have or a car you drive, but the fact that, oh, I got to sleep in a bed last night. I have air conditioning. I have a refrigerator with food inside, running water, things like that. But a super powerful way to increase your gratitude instantly is through the ancient Stoic practice of negative visualization. So to do this exercise, you need a subject that is something you typically rely on in your life. This could be a person or a thing. Once you start thinking about all the things you rely on in your day-to-day life, you will find plenty of things to be the subject of these exercises. And then choose a subject and begin to think about how useful it is for you. Is it convenient? Does it bring you joy? And then visualize that from this very point moving forward, it is completely stripped of your life. You will never be with that thing or person again. And imagine the struggles of navigating life without it. Create scenarios in your mind that you would typically rely on this thing or person, and now you can't, and just dwell on it. What would your life look like without it from this point on? The final trap on this list is brain fog. And while the past 4 traps have been mental, this is actually a physical occurrence that causes mental difficulties. Most likely all of us have experienced brain fog to some extent, both knowingly and unknowingly. It's why one day you can feel super sharp, confident, focused, you know, you're just that guy. And then the next day you can feel slow, irritable, and foggy. A great example of what brain fog can look like is the day after a night of heavy drinking. It is just this complete lack of mental clarity, like someone took your brain and just put a blur filter on it. Your focus sucks, your memory sucks, and honestly, it's kind of like you have a form of mental disability. And this trap is especially harmful because it physically limits your cognitive ability. And the reason brain fog is so common is because There are so many things that can cause it. The first cause is poor sleep. To avoid this, you should be sleeping roughly the same time every night. Don't oversleep, don't undersleep. For most people, shoot for 7 to 8 hours. And then something that's super useful is to go take a chronotype test and see out of the 4 different animals what sleep type you are, which can inform your decisions on bedtimes in the future. The second cause is deficiencies. If you're not getting enough things like vitamin D, magnesium, fatty acids, it will wreck your brain. Now, obviously, you could go and get your blood work done and know exactly what you're deficient in, or just really think hard about if your diet is healthy and just try supplementing with certain things. Personally, I make sure to take my vitamin D and electrolytes every day. And next, the biggest cause, or at least the general consensus of what causes brain fog, is inflammation. Great ways to reduce inflammation, both in the brain and the body, is take an allergy test to make sure you are not eating any foods you are allergic to, which will cause inflammation. You can supplement some carbs in your diet for healthy fats. You can supplement with an anti-inflammatory such as turmeric. And honestly, for some of you guys, it's a matter of getting your weight in check. Obesity and visceral fat is shown to wreak havoc on the brain. So don't forget the free dopamine guide and meditation series. And for those of you who want my complete self-development protocol that not only solves things like distraction, stress, and insecurity, but goes deeper to fully reprogram your mind and subconscious to become that higher version of yourself that is required to hit the goals you want in life. If you're interested in becoming an outlier that attracts people and success, you can click this video right here to see if mental mastery is right for you. And if you'd like to learn these self-improvement traps that will kill your progress, then click this video right here. That's it. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching this far. Bye-bye.